Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
No worries. Well, thank you for doing the interview. It's going to be good to talk about some music and looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. Same here. I mean, with being a longtime fan of the band and being able to see you live in like a setting like Prog Power USA a couple years back, I mean, it's amazing to see that you guys are finally able to put out what the whole Haken live experience is like with this brand new live release.
Yeah, well, we've been officially a band for 10 years now, and we've been getting a lot of requests, like fairly recently, and obviously over the years, to put out a live DVD or some kind of live release. And we thought it's about time that we, give fans what they wanted and what they deserved. And yeah, really happy with how it's come out. It's been 10 years in the making, I guess you could say. But yeah, really happy with the results. Can't wait to get it out there.
And with that, how did you decide what show you were going to do to be able to have this live recording happen?
Well, thankfully, we record all of our parts pretty much directly into the desk each night, because we have amp simulators. We use Axe effects units, and Connor runs his bass directly into the desk, and likewise with the keyboards with Diego. So we have the option of recording every night. So that's what we do. So we record every night, and we essentially go with the show that we feel is the tightest. And thankfully, the last show of the tour was Amsterdam, and that's the one we went for in the end.
And what a great place to play to wrap up a tour like Amsterdam. I mean, with the whole region being known for like such great music of different genres and everything, I mean, it's a great way to be able to cap off an amazing run like that.
Oh, it's a great place. We actually played there a couple of years before with Between the Buried and Me, and it's an awesome venue. It's called the Melkweg. I think I pronounced it right. I'm not too sure, but it's a really nice venue. And like you say, Holland or the Netherlands generally has a great love for music, and we generally get our best fan base over there. They're in Germany and places like Mexico as well. So yeah, to finish off the tour there was awesome, and obviously to film it was even more awesome.
And with that, I mean, obviously with knowing that there was eventually going to be a live release, how did you decide what songs were going to end up on the live release?
Well, it was actually, like I said before, it was our 10-year anniversary, so we wanted to have a set that catered for our whole discography. So we did, rather than play individual songs from our opening or debut album, Aquarius, we decided to come up with an Aquarius medley, which is basically a bunch of songs or a bunch of parts from the songs on the album, which together make a long song. So we did that for Aquarius, which covered about 25 minutes of the set. And then for Visions, we did the title track, which is in itself a pretty lengthy song. It's about 22 minutes, I think. So that's pretty much covered that whole album. And then we just did a bunch of songs from The Mountain and Affinity as well. So we covered pretty much our whole discography and just went for the songs that we most like playing live.
Oh, very much so. And it definitely sounds that way. I mean, when I listen to it, I mean, obviously with it being the end of the tour that was going on with Amsterdam, I mean, it just sounds so unbelievably tight what's going on there. And I can tell the fun that you guys are having, especially at that point.
Yeah, I mean, because it was our final show of the tour, and it was a fairly lengthy tour. From what I remember, it was about 5 weeks. So by that point, the music was fully ingrained in us, and we were fairly free just to focus on giving the best performance that we could give. And we weren't worrying too much about getting everything tight because it was just ingrained in our fingers. And like you say, because it's the end of the tour, you're going home and you're going to go and see your family again. So there's that feeling as well that you can channel into the performance. So all in all, I was very happy with it, and got fond memories from that show.
Yeah, and one thing I also really appreciate as well is with the DVD having bonus tracks from Prog Power USA 2016, which was the show that I happened to see you guys at. So it was really cool to be able to commemorate that as well.
You came to that show?
I did.
Yeah, it's an awesome show. Luckily we had Portnoy who was there, and he was watching the show, and we asked him to play the gong right at the end of the song of Crystallize, because he did that on the on the EP. So luckily he was there and we actually filmed it. So that's a nice little treat for the fans. And yeah, 'cause we have this footage and we've been sitting on it for about a year now, and we thought it would be a perfect opportunity to get it out there along with the other footage that we had.
And when you look back at it now, I mean, how is the feeling for you? Like looking back at the Amsterdam show, looking back at Prog Power USA, and your feeling of where the band has progressed even since that short amount of time?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, we were celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and we started off as a fairly modest band, and we didn't really have a following at all when we released Aquarius. And luckily, people latched onto the music, and yeah, it's come a long way since then. I think in all areas we've tried to push the boundaries. Obviously, musically, we've tried to expand our boundaries and knowledge of what we're playing in our individual instruments. But also with the whole stage setup and the image of the band, we tried to push things in every direction. So yeah, watching back a show like this, really in comparison to something from our earlier days, you can really see the difference.
Yeah, and even back in 2016 when you guys were doing the set you did, I mean, it was so amazing to be able to see what you guys were doing at the time with Affinity, and then going back to the previous albums as well in the set. And it's amazing to see the musical change that you guys have been able to do with every album and still feel like it's the same band.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a common thread, because I think the first time we played Prog Power USA was 2011, and that was when we were fairly new to the whole prog world and we were in our infancy, so we had a lot of work to do. So last year we went back there and we actually played the whole of Visions, to celebrate that release. But I think with each album, in terms of the writing, we try and build upon what we've already got. So we don't want to completely change our sound, and we don't try to force it in any way, really. I mean, we just write what we feel comfortable writing, and naturally it evolves. And then, naturally there's always going to be that common thread that ties it all together.
Yeah, and that's the great sign of where you guys are at too. I mean, the compatibility with everyone in the lineup, making sure everyone's wanting to go in the same direction for that album. And of course, the longer that you work with people, the more that you realize that you can go into these different territories and still being able to have that Haken sound.
Yeah, I think the key word is compromise, and giving everyone a voice within the band, because for the last album, Affinity, was the first album we really collaborated, and I really feel it helped the band grow in a lot of ways, because there's so many influences across the band. You can really hear it, and I think it's really important to give everyone a voice and make sure that we can make an eclectic album as we can, whilst making it accessible to our fans at the same time. So we're very vigilant of that and aware that it all needs to flow. It can't be too scatty and schizophrenic. But all in all, yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's going, and we've finished writing a new album now, and we're in the studio right now kind of recording it, so really excited about that as well.
I was actually just about to ask about that. I mean, I wanted to tiptoe a little bit around it, but it's awesome to see that the writing process is complete for the new album. I mean, I'm very excited to see the direction that you guys are going to be going in.
Yeah, for the last 5 months we've been intensely working together, working on new music, and we wanted to get it out this year, hopefully. So we've been working overtime and really pushing it as hard as we can. And we finished the writing fairly recently, pretty much, and we're just still working on vocal melodies and tweaking various bits here and there. But Ray's actually gone into the studio last week, and he started to track the drums, so it's all sounding really huge so far. And he's actually doing the drums at Crypt Studios in London, and he's done like a few albums there now, and they really know his sound, and they really know what works for his style. And on top of that, we've got Nolly helping us get some really killer drum tones, and that's Nolly from Periphery. So all in all, really excited about how it comes out, and then we're going to start tracking our parts very soon.
That makes me so excited, especially on the drum end. I mean, I've always loved the drum sounds that have come from every Haken release, but knowing that Nolly is actually helping out with the drum sounds this time around, I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to be coming from that.
It's insane. So Ray's been giving us some reports from the studio, and he said the drums have never sounded so good. And so Nolly was there on the first day, and he was tuning the drums, based on the tunings of the songs. And apparently, it really kind of resonates with the music that we've come up with. And I can't wait to hear how it it's come out. But really excited to have Nolly working with us on this one.
Oh, same here. So for longtime fans or for people who may have just discovered you through Affinity, how would you compare the new album to Infinity?
I would say in the past we've dipped our toes into the heavier, darker side of our music, and we've never really gone headfirst into that style. But with this album, I definitely think we're jumping headfirst into the heavier side of our music, and there's a lot of metallic guitar tones there, and I think we're going to maybe expand upon the 80s influences from Affinity. So it's going to be a nice mixture of really heavy, dark music with that 80s influence as well.
Oh, that just sounds 100% up my alley, and I cannot wait to hear the end result of that. I mean, being able to have it as catchy as like the 80s sides that were going on with Affinity, and being able to harken back to some of the more dark metallic moments that have shown up through Haken's discography, I mean, that makes me very excited, and I just cannot wait to hear that final product.
Me neither, to be honest, and I can't wait to get out there and play it, because there's a lot of cool riffs that we've been coming up with, so I can't wait to actually play live. I've got a feeling that when we take it to the stage, it's going to take it to another dimension. It's going to be even bigger than on the record, so I can't wait for that.
Yeah, and I was going to say that as well, too. I mean, also with it being a few years since Affinity, I mean, it's going to be great to be able to get up into the live set and being able to play some brand new tunes as well, but with that, I mean, being able to show another direction of where the band is going from, and showing that ever-growing sound of the band with more of like that 80s sound with the more dark metallic tones that's going on there. I mean, it's just going to make every Haken show even that much more fun to listen to, especially if you have a diverse taste.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we've got a large bunch of tunes that we can choose from to cater our set to where we play. So there's every show that we play is going to be like a journey. There's going to be mountains and valleys, and there's going to be ups and downs of different colours, and so I feel that it's an exciting thing to be able to play it. And also we're going to on the next few tours we're going to really push it in terms of the light show and just a general stage setup. We're going to try and push the boundaries as far as we have as a band in that front, and I think that will really kind of marry up with the music that we've been working on.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite moments of when I was last at Prog Power at 2016, was I loved the visual light show that was going on with what you guys did. So hearing that you guys are going to be expanding upon that, I mean, it's just going to be such a treat to be able to see you guys live, both visually and audibly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the light show and the stage setup is hugely important, especially with our music, because it has a certain cinematic quality to it, I guess you could say. So visuals are very important. One band that really blew me away was Meshuggah, and I remember seeing them in Brixton Academy a couple of years back, and it was just like a religious experience. I was just standing there, just being blown away by the strobe lights that were behind them, and it was crazy. It was a fairly simple idea, but the strobes were behind them, and it was creating this crazy silhouette, and it just really blew me away. And it was all in time with the polyrhythmic stuff that they were doing, and yeah, from that point, I think I've always loved the idea of really pushing our light show to another level.
Oh yeah, and having seen Meshuggah twice as well, I mean, I know that they are absolute masters of being able to put on that live show, especially with the lights and the silhouettes and everything that's going on matching their sounds. So, it's like taking that as inspiration, but also putting that Haken twist on it. That's just going to make for an amazing combination.
Yeah, I really can't wait to push it and see where we can go with that. And I think obviously our bands like to see the fretboard work and the keyboard work of us playing. So we need to kind of strike a balance between excessive, epileptic, fit-inducing lights to the modest lights where people can actually see what we're playing. So yeah, it's gonna be a kind of balance game, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of that, how about your own personal setup? Are you switching anything around for this album cycle?
In terms of what I play?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still going to be using my Strandberg guitar. I'm really happy with the guitars that they've been building me. Ola's always been very kind to me. And the latest guitar he built for me was a True Temperament guitar, and I'm really loving that. So I'll definitely be using that on the next tour, and I've been using that to record with. And I'll also be using my Axe-FX unit, which is just a complete dream. So in the past, I've had an Axe-FX 2 unit, which was it's more of a studio rack unit, which is amazing, but you also need a foot pedal to go along with that, which is a bit heavy-handed when you're touring. But they recently, about 2 years ago, released an Axe 8 pedal, which is an all-in-one pedal with the stomp box feature along with the actual amp simulations within the pedal. So I'll be using that on tour. And yeah, in terms of keyboards, I'm not actually going to be doing any keyboards actually on the next album. So I'll just be using my old keyboard setup for the older tunes, basically.
And how does that feel for you? I mean, do you like the fact that Diego is just going to be taking over the helm for the keyboards, or do you kind of miss working on new keyboard stuff?
Well, I love playing piano and love playing keyboards, but it's just I found it quite tricky juggling the two. So there'll be certain moments where I've recorded say a piano part that jumps very quickly into the guitar part, but I've got to change to a lead tone or something like this. It became a bit of a dancing act, which was quite tricky. And I'm very confident in Diego's capabilities of creating huge sounds. And I don't think it's even necessary to have two keyboards in a lot of parts, because he's got two hands, and we can almost play some of the parts on the guitar. And for various parts, I actually play some of the keyboard parts on my guitar, just to make things a bit simpler and just to give it a different flavour in a live context. So one example of that is Cockroach King. There's halfway through the tune, there's an organ break, but I actually now play it on the guitar, and I just find it a bit more fun, I guess, to do that, and it's less hassle. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll go back to recording some keyboards on one of the albums. But I guess the music will really dictate how that comes about.
And honestly, I do actually appreciate that. It is going to be more focused on guitar, and, like Diego's playing the keys, and, you're going to be playing some keyboard parts on the guitar. I mean, I just love the fact that things are even being switched up even when it comes into the live setting like that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of me playing the keyboard parts on the guitar, it's mainly just for the old tunes where I've been playing keyboards. But in terms of this album, there's still going to be a lot of keyboard work on it. And it's going to be, like, the sound design that Diego comes up with is amazing. So on this one, he's really gone to town and taken it to another level. So I think everyone's going to be in for a real treat in that department. But I can't wait to actually get this stuff out there and start getting some teasers out there for people to hear it and gauge their reactions.
Oh, very much so. And I'm definitely going to be one of those people chomping at the bit, waiting for that first early teaser, and then hearing the first single to see what the first song is going to be to represent the album before I fully get to digest the album and being able to go from start to finish. I mean, just with everything that you've described so far, and knowing what's going to be coming from the live shows when that eventually starts coming around as well. I mean, just as a longtime fan, all of this has gotten me so very excited to see where you guys are going to be going.
I can't wait to get it out there, and it should be, well, I say fairly soon, but we're in the studio now, so I imagine it'll take a while to mix it, and then who knows when we'll get these teasers out there. But the plan is to try and get it out there by the end of the year. At least that's the plan from the label, and it'd be awesome if we could. And then we'll be, touring it again and back out there on the road, which is really exciting.
Oh, very much so. And with Affinity being one of my favorite albums of 2016, I mean, with 2018 now, and just the fact that you guys are going to be going in this direction, always putting on an amazing live show talking about this brand new live release. I mean, it's going to be great to see that you guys are potentially going to be having two releases this year of two different styles, and of course, being able to tour behind the new album. Any chance of that this year, more potentially next year as well, and just seeing the direction that you guys are going to be going in. I mean, I'm glad to see that you guys are going full throttle like this, and I can just imagine for you guys being able to work on new material and get it out there, see what crowd reaction is going to be. I mean, that's just so cool.
I mean, I can't wait. And it's something, like I said before, that we've never really done. We've never delved headfirst into something like this, something full-on heavy. Obviously, there's going to be the quieter moments, but it's like an onslaught of heaviness, I guess you could say. Can't wait to get it out there. And like you say, two releases in 1 year. We've never done that. And initially, the live release, we had this footage, and we thought, let's just push it and get it out there. It'd be fairly easy, and we'll just get it together. And finally, we did it. We finally got it together, and that'll be coming out. And then we've got hopefully the studio album out later in the year. So yeah, 2 albums in 1 year. Never done that before.
Yeah, I mean, and even if it is like pushing the sound of the band, or being able to release 2 releases this year, I mean, it's great to see that you guys are constantly pushing yourselves and trying new things and experimenting, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and just constantly trying to evolve as a band. I mean, there's some bands that don't need to evolve their sound, and there's some bands that it's just so awesome to see when they do try new things. So when I finally do get the new Haken album in in front of me and I'm able to listen to it from start to finish, see how the single fits in with the rest of the album, see how the teasers and where they come from. I mean, it's really great to see where you guys are at.
It's also, I think it's great when bands evolve, and obviously, like you say, some bands don't need to evolve, and they've got a strong fan base, but it's not really a question of us needing to do it. It's more like, we're growing as individuals and human beings, and the music is essentially reflecting this growth. I always think of an album like a window into who we are, and naturally, as we grow, the music's going to grow. So, yeah, it's not really too much of a conscious thing. And yeah, I guess this next album is exploring our darker side. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, and you said it right there too. I mean, as long as it feels natural, I think that's the greatest way to be able to evolve, rather than feeling like you're forced to have to write into a style or, just trying to follow trends, so you're just trying to jump onto that. I mean, you guys are going about it the right direction. You're constantly evolving as people, and you want to be able to have music that revolves around that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, because essentially, we've got to play this music. I know obviously people have to listen to it, but I feel that if we write music that we want to play, even though it may come across as selfish, it's probably the most honest way of writing music. And if people want to kind of join in and listen to it, that's great. But essentially, we're writing it because we like to play it, and we've got to play it. So yeah, I think that's the most honest way of writing music, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and with that, I think that's a fantastic note to end on for everybody. Thank you so very much for taking time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world with Haken right now, and of course the brand new live album DVD release, which is coming out at the end of the month. Hopefully by the end of the year, the brand new Haken album, which I imagine that all the lyrics and the titles and artwork and everything will be coming down the road as well, along with the recording, and that just gets me so excited to see where you guys are going to be going at right now. And I thank you so much for letting me in on what's going to be going on with the new album, and it just makes me very excited to be able to check that out and to be able to see you guys on this new run that'll be coming up, and seeing how you guys have progressed since the last time I saw you guys at Rock Power 2016.
Well, nice. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for the interview and helping spread the word. And yeah, I hope you like the new music when we finally drop it. And yeah, thanks again.